What's up, everybody? Supreme Decisions here, and this is 2025. Yes, it's the first episode of 2025, and I hate that it's in February. But we're here, we're still growing, we're still going. Well, I wasn't sure what I was going to talk to you guys about today, so this one is actually going to be shorter than usual. It's kind of where we've gone, where we're at, and what we're going to be doing. Because one of the things that I actually picked up was the fact that the masterclass is going to be a little bit more robust. What I mean by that is I have two levels. I have pretty much the initial masterclass, which the majority of people are going to enroll in because it's just getting the basics of criminal defense. Because let's face it, 90% of people that actually get involved with police, they're not in actual, incarceration peril, so to speak. They're not facing prison time. So what you're going to need are just the basics to actually kind of maneuver through. Now, there are some that will want to go more in depth, like dealing with appeals, dealing with the hands-on, and not only helping themselves, but putting themselves in a position to help others. Yet they don't have, $20,000 or $50,000 laying around that'll pay for school. And generally, you get to learn now on your own time. So, and that will be the more advanced class because that's the more I'm going to do this and do that. Because just to give you an example, like the basics of setting up a case, that's what's going to be in your regular master class. It's going to tell you, what to ask for in discovery, why you're asking for those things in discovery, and how to enforce those things in discovery. While the second part of it is, let's say we're asking for something in discovery, such as being pulled over and the dog's coming to sniff a car or sniff your vehicle. Well, one of the things that you will need to know is the fact that 80% of all dog alerts are wrong. And then you'll have an opportunity of understanding how to challenge something like that. Now, I wanted to do a few other things, but like I said, I'm kind of testing out a few things, seeing where we're going, seeing how we're going to grow. Because one of the things I've been looking at how to pretty much expand what we're doing, because I don't want this to be something where it seems like we're just bashing police officers, because that's not what this is for. This is actual for citizen protection. Because whether we like it or not everyone that's attempting to police us is wanting to do this in a proper manner. And we also know that majority of police officers don't know law. They don't understand the things that they can do and the other things that they can't do, which again lets you know that they don't know what is a crime and what isn't. And they're often doing things where they're skipping steps, even in the totality of circumstances. They're going to do a he said, she said without evidence, which is also why we go into the context of them not knowing what probable cause is. Why? Because you have places like Georgia, which is deemed one of the worst places in the country as far as policing, and their training is 6 weeks. And there's no way that you're going to learn law in 6 weeks. And even back further, if I want to go deeper in depth, most of the people that graduate from these Georgia police academies, almost 85 to 90% of those people aren't even qualified to become police officers. Hell, we even had an entire state trooper class get caught for cheating. And 36 of them were brought back and made police officers. Then we still had the task force down in, I believe it was Warner Robinson. Another task force that's out and illegally stopping people and planting evidence and then lying in reports, and then no one wants to deal with it. this is the reason why I exist, because I teach you how to not only set up your defense, but also put these people in a position to where they have to do something about the bad officers that they have on the force, which again then makes others not want to become part of something that is already bad. So the reason I'll get into other stuff later, but like I said, this is going to be a show, and this shouldn't even been a podcast, to be honest with you, because I was listening. I do a lot of listening and trying to observe and see what other people are doing. And as you know, I listen to a lot of the artists or people that have been in the business, from whenever I was a youngster. And one of the guys I heard speak the other day, his name is Nori. Well, Nori's is part of Drink Champs, and he spoke about how he was able to create a bigger opportunity for himself through podcasting. And then when he was asked about the setup that he did, he spoke about it's threefold. Well, one of the partners that he brought up was the fact that Spotify only deals with audio. But if you give them audio and video, they then cut you out of the video portion of it. And that was one of the deals that, if you guys remember, a couple of years ago, I was actually dealing with Spotify on looking at going exclusive, and they were offering me a X amount of dollars per year, which wasn't horrible. It just wasn't the number I wanted for me to actually move back to Atlanta. And, the studio there was phenomenal. The opportunity there was phenomenal. It just wasn't, I can tell you guys at this point, because I'm still with Spotify. We still have our own thing. The reason why I'm doing this one is because they want to make sure I'm still going forward, because we came to a pass. And in doing a pass, I had some other things that went along last year that kind of restricted my time. It took a lot of my time, so I wasn't making time for doing this. And in the context of that, they want to make sure that, hey, you're our partner. What do we need to do to get you going? I was like, actually, nothing. I just need to sit down. And in doing that, we came up with the idea of putting out the 52 episodes this year. We're going to do that. You're going to have at bare minimum 52. This is going to be one of those. And we're going to do some major learning, because the whole point in the actual podcast itself was not just to have material, not just to throw something up, because if that was the case, I can be like a lot of these content creators and just put something out just to be putting it out. But my whole thing is making sure that we're able to put together a product that not only are you able to consume and kind of be fed with, that's one of my things, but that can take you beyond where you're at now and even live beyond me. So even in doing this, it's understanding I made a conscious decision not to sign an exclusivity deal with Spotify. And I'm not just going to bring you content just for the sake of bringing content. But I'm working towards something that not only will it be beneficial for myself, Spotify, and my other partners, but it'll actually allow all of us to grow collectively like we were supposed to, like the channel is intended to do, and now like the brand is intended to do. So I'm going to be doing a lot of question and answers. I'm going to do more live shows, not even a might. I've actually done, I believe, 2 thus far. And I plan on doing at least 1 a week. So you're going to get at least probably 50 of those as well. And we're expanding, going into, different markets, because right now we're in, I believe, 43 countries where the Supreme Decision Legal Minute podcast can be heard. So again, that's one of the things that is very important to me. So, we want to make sure we're doing everything necessary to keep going and keep growing, and also giving you substance. Now, for the end part of this, I want to thank everybody that has been supporting me since 2017, that's been here listening, that's kind of holding on and hoping that, I don't just stop. Because, I believe if you actually watch the radio show, on the radio show, I said 1,000 episodes. And, I got another brush with reality, because even watching someone like Joe Rogan and how he put together his platform, he spoke about, he did 2,000 episodes before he actually made a dime on his podcast. And now, you're looking at the constant production of content. And even now, one of the things I wanted to do was put out at least 100 hours, because it was, when I first heard it, it was kind of weird to me. It was one of those things where it was a shock. Matter of fact, I shouldn't even use weird, but it was something that I wasn't used to or ready for. So, and there was someone told me, hey, I listen to your voice, every night before I go to sleep, because your podcast kind of soothes me. Now, I didn't know how to take that, because I don't like listening to my voice. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's why I changed the way I did the podcast. And if you notice, the editing portion of it sounded different. Well, again, doing a few more things, trying to learn how to make sure I get this thing correct. Have a different studio now, which is a little better as far as the soundproofing, which we're going to know in a little bit, because there's this dog that's just been barking and barking for the past 10 minutes and getting on my nerves, because I can hear it in my headphones. Anyway, but at the same time, it's understanding how all of this works and getting a better sense of creating the business of content creating, and even in the business of schooling, because that's what this is. The whole point in putting this podcast together was part of a business plan for the Supreme Decisions brand and YouTube channel. So while it's still going to remain on YouTube and continue to grow from there, we're still on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on several other platforms, LinkedIn, I'm putting this where it can be seen and heard, and even on Patreon. Patreon has been there for a minute, and I'm putting things together, because at the end of the day, the goal is to make sure we're putting out the product that's necessary for everybody. And even now, I believe we're going to be putting out more YouTube shorts, and hell, even on TikTok while it's up. Because I was going to do a show about the TikTok ban, in which, for the most part, we've got now probably about 11 months before it'll actually be completely banned or it'll be sold. So if it's sold, we'll be all right. If it's completely banned, well, you got 11 months to make money from it. But again, there are other sites that are popping up. I'm actually looking to go on to a few of them. One of them, I believe, is Fan Zone or something like that. And another type of network. I can't remember the names of them, because I believe, let me look real quick, because I got TikTok, I got Flip, I've got Spill, MoveSpot, Frequency, Bean Now, Fanbase, that's what it was. I'm doing a lot of stuff now on X, which is formerly Twitter. I'm even putting things on Patreon and Rumble, because I noticed that there's a migration of a lot of things, but at the same time, there are opportunities everywhere because hell, I'm the weekend at this point because most of my videos that I put out is timeless because 90% of what I've said has not been overturned. Now there has been a video or two where there have been fine tuning, but for the most part, the teachings of it don't change. And what's amazing about this whole stuff is that I'm still finding new things that I can actually sit down, I can speak about, I can actually teach, I can actually go further in depth about stuff that I've already spoken about. And that's what we're getting ready to do. So hopefully this podcast, when it comes out, hopefully in the next 24 hours, that you'll be able to have an opportunity to sit down, add some comments, tell me what it is that you like, tell me what you don't like, tell me where you're listening from. And also, do me a favor. Let's start asking questions because that's the way we're going to grow. That's the way we're going to keep doing things. That's the way we're going to maintain focus. Because 9 out of 10 times it's something I've already spoken about, or it's going to be something that's part of one of the master classes. So I love you guys. Let's keep going. Let's keep growing. And hopefully this actually sounds a lot better than it has been because I'm using a few more plugins. I'm learning a few more things. So be on the lookout. Podcasts are coming. Live shows are coming. Videos are coming. And Supreme, I'm out.